Hi friends, welcome back. So I want to talk in today's video about height and why I think girls should not be so obsessed with height. It's one of those things where I feel really bad for guys because obviously the height they are is something that's genetic and it's something they cannot change. So whereas a girl can maybe lose weight or do different things or dye her hair maybe to change her appearance, for a guy, he's unfortunately set at the height that he is. And I feel that a lot of possibly resentment from guys possibly comes from this aspect, is that guys will blanketly get overlooked for their height, predominantly on dating apps. So even when I'm swiping on dating apps, a lot of men automatically put their height in now. So you'll see guys being like, oh, I'm this, I'm this. I just think it's a bit of a shame really that it's kind of the way society is. I think one of the main reasons females tend to be obsessed with height is definitely through cultural conditioning. Cultural conditioning tells a female that if she has a tall partner, it almost validates the female more. It's though because a female has a tall man, then it reflects more on her as to say, look at me, I've managed to pull the guy that's tall. So it's definitely social conditioning as well. So I think there's two parts to it. There's that part, and then there's also the part which you can't get away from, is that sadly it's in their biology to seek out the tall male, whereas nowadays you don't need a tall man to survive. Like historically in the past, if you had a taller mate, he would more likely protect you, etc. So it's kind of a biological hangover from that, whereas females still have it in their imprint to seek out a taller man through like the biological reasons, which obviously we don't need so much now. But I think what I'm more concerned about is females writing off completely good guys that would treat them well just because they want someone tall. And I think that's the more damaging aspect of what people are like doing. I wanted to draw upon a video that Rebecca Lynn Pope did. So I watched a bit of her content and I find it's really good. She does kind of approach things from a Christian angle, and I'm not really religious, but I still think her content's quite good to pick stuff up. So she makes a valid point that only a very small percentage of the population are over 6 foot. Once you wheedle out the guys that are married, the guys that are in relationships, the guys that are gay, the guys that are in prison, you're left with a very small percentage of men that are over 6 foot. So it seems to be quite ridiculous that women are still looking for this man over this mythical height of 6 foot. It seems to be like women don't want guys under 6 foot, which is absolutely crazy. And you kind of think, well, are the females 6 foot? No. So why would you want someone that's 6 foot if you're not 6 foot? I mean, I'm quite lucky in the fact that I'm quite short. I'm about 5'2", so height really isn't a problem for me kind of when I'm kind of looking at guys, because guys are always going to be taller than me, so it doesn't really affect me. But you'll definitely see girls that are maybe taller than me and they don't want the shorter male. Say if a girl is say 5'7", 5'8", then she's going to be looking for someone taller. She's going to be thinking, well, if I want to wear heels on a night out, then, you know, she wants to be out with a 6 foot guy minimum. And I just think what you're doing is you're cutting off valid guys on the basis of height. It just seems like such a trivial thing. I mean, height shouldn't really play a factor in when you're looking for a partner. It doesn't really ascertain how a guy is going to treat you. It's completely different. It's down to the individual guy. And what women need to be wary of is having the list of requirements of what they want in a guy and how they want a guy to be, and putting too much physical pressure on that list. Because at the end of the day, what you can be doing is you can be discarding good quality guys because they don't fit in the kind of the criteria that you've built up in your mind that you want. You want the 6 foot tall, handsome guy with lots of money. I think while women do have to have standards, they do also have to be realistic in the fact that guys like this, guys in that kind of bracket, do not exist. The type of the Christian Grey that women seem to be, wanting, the guy that he's a billionaire, he's attractive, he's 6 foot, he's got all of this going for him. This type of guy, it's a character that a female writer has developed and created because she knows that females will get sucked into that. It's a complete fantasy. It's a fantasy guy that doesn't exist. I mean, if you're looking at it realistically, I'll keep it 100% real on this channel. You either have to choose between the looks or the money. You rarely get the guy with looks and money, and you have to be honest with yourself. If a guy does have looks and money, is he going to be interested in you? Probably not. So you're rarely going to get the guy with looks and money. So, oh yeah, and then if you want height as well, yeah. So if you want a guy that's tall with money and looks, that type of guy just doesn't exist. You just need to keep it 100% real, and you're just discarding guys based on height. It's crazy. I mean, I think of my dad. My dad is 5'10", which is like about the average height in the UK. And I just think how if my mum had completely discarded him because he's 5'10", and the thing is, my brother is 6 foot. It just shows you it doesn't matter necessarily if you marry a short man, because it can play a factor like further up the line of the genealogy. If you think of the people that are successful in life and have got a lot of money, they usually are shorter because they've had to kind of work on it. They haven't been able to rely on their height. And also what you'll tend to find is that guys that are shorter, they tend to have more game and more about them because they can't just rely on their height and their matinee looks. I don't know how many people I've been on dates with that are tall and they've got nothing to say because they're just hot and they're tall and that's all they've got to rely on. The point of this video, I think males will probably watch this more than females, but if you are a female, it's to really think about what you're kind of looking for in a partner. And if you're going out there with a set goal in your head, if you want someone at a certain height and you won't date below a certain height, then you're cutting out most of the population and most of the people in your dating pool. You have to remember, like I said, the proportion of men over 6 foot is very tiny, and it's such a small percentage that you're just cutting out loads of available guys. And if you are a short guy, just think that, I always say there's someone for everyone, but it's true. It's like, just because you're a shorter guy doesn't mean you can't find someone. I know loads of short guys that have game, and at the end of the day, looks do get you so far, but it's having the game that will kind of attract a woman. The people I've kind of dated are probably maybe not as conventionally attractive, but they've been funny guys and they've had something to say. And I think that's what's ultimately is what keeps you attracted to someone. It's just having someone you can just have a laugh with. And ladies, I think you just need to not care so much about the height. and just see it as it's just a physical characteristic. Okay, it probably is going to be harder for a guy if they're shorter, but if you just sit there and you're just like, I'm short, I'm short, I'm short, then you're just perpetuating that cycle, and it's a cycle that you kind of need to break from, really. Hope you've enjoyed today's video. Please like and subscribe. Come on, subscribers, I know you're out there, come on, subscribe. Thanks for watching.